All right, everyone. Steve Metrics here of Db8 Sports with ya boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are here on a Sunday, a little bit later, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we are in the middle of March Madness, DJ Triggs. And are your brackets shattered or do you got some hope?
I have a bracket. I think it's like 87% or
Yeah,
whatever on ESPN.
there you go.
So it's not shattered, but it's I don't know. All the Wisconsin teams are out, so now I really don't even care about NCAA basketball anymore.
Well, to be fair,
And
though,
and the Green Bay women are out too.
yes, that's true. Green Bay women are out. Both Wisconsin teams are out. But by Wisconsin affiliation, Nate Oates and Alabama are still in it. So we got them. We got them. Hey,
Yeah,
I,
I'm
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 just saying.
kind of I'm happy things are slow.
Yeah. Hey, I accidentally so I submitted my brackets. I still got my four Final Four teams. I accidentally though clicked Wisconsin over Nate Oates and Alabama. I meant to put Alabama though. So yeah, I'm gonna eat that one
I
in
mean, I
extra
had
rounds. But
BYU beating them.
really,
I
that's
had BYU beating them. So yeah,
interesting. So did you? So
yep.
when I was looking at that, I was thinking about the elevation. Do you think that elevation that Brigham Young is used to probably played a factor in it?
No. Well, oh man. See, this is gonna be very bad. I am not into NCAA basketball, especially this year because I watched Marquette go from like top five in the
Yes.
country to just like
Nope.
gone, and then
Yep.
Wisconsin was kind of just here, and then they got a 3 seed, and I'm like, why? They're not that good. And then
I
once
know.
I seen who they were playing at certain points, I was like, okay, they might get upset in the first round, but I'll give them one round just to be nice because I didn't give Marquette one round at all.
Okay.
Um, they were
Yeah.
basically playing a team, um, like, okay, so Marquette, not to go too deep in the weeds, but Marquette was playing a clone of themselves who were not like just excited to be there. They were like,
Okay.
let's go. Like, we
Yeah.
never get to be here. We're here to win in New Mexico. And then Wisconsin playing BYU. BYU just shoots a lot of threes and like they run up and down the court. Yeah, every single person in hey, this isn't your Wisconsin team from 20 years ago. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's true because they play on the perimeter, and if they can't knock down shots or uh, if their star players, what was it, John Tanji? Uh, if the star player isn't doing everything, then they don't matter. And Marquette fell in that same boat with Cam Jones. They had a guy on their team that was exactly like Cam Jones, and they shut him down, and then no one else scored. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't really think either of the Wisconsin teams had a shot.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did a little analysis into this and kind of what I was doing was I was looking at the ways that teams lose and that's the whole way I like to go about my metrics and my brackets is what kind of teams are symbolic that you as a team has had trouble against. And I took those metrics, whether it's kind of scoring like rebounding, points inside, points outside, pace of play. I factored in locations, stuff like that. So I took that and I threw it into AI. So I had AI do a conversation. I did that for every matchup. And right out of the gates, I actually did have New Mexico over Marquette. So I went with
Mm-hmm.
that one. And then the Wisconsin bracket to me, that little mini bracket for the first two rounds, to me was interesting because those games were out in Denver. So you had a little elevation playing into that. So I was thinking then the second round, I actually had them against Virginia Commonwealth. I thought that kind of run and gun kind of style that Virginia Commonwealth played. I thought that would actually catch up to them in the second game against Wisconsin, which is kind of an all-around team, and Wisconsin would be able to use that elevation to their advantage because they are a more balanced kind of team. And then if I wouldn't have misclicked, I would have had Alabama winning against Wisconsin because Alabama is a run and gun, pretty good defensive team, but pretty good shooting team. So I would think if you take them out of the elevation and put them on a level playing field, then I think the run and gun of Alabama would have upset Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but Wisconsin just everything I've seen of them, and even them going deep into the Big Ten tournament, like it was like, oh, okay, this is a surprise. Okay, when will they have that game that you figure they will have? And they had it
Right.
against Michigan State, and then coming into the tournament, I'm like, why is their seating so high?
Yeah,
Okay,
3
I
is
guess.
insane. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like if we go back to the year when they had Frank the Tank Kaminsky and
Sam Decker.
Sam Decker,
Yeah.
were they a 4 seed? I want to say that was back against Anthony Davis and Kentucky way back then. I know that was a
Oh
really
man,
good team,
that
but I
was a
don't think they were
long
ever a
time ago.
3. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they might have been a 2. They might have been a 2 way back when, but like, man, I don't know. I just didn't see a 3 seed out of Wisconsin this year being all that great. To be honest, I
Man,
thought they were kind of okay. I could see maybe like a 5, to be honest.
I
But
thought
I
this
never thought they were at the level of a 3. I never thought they were top 12 worthy, to be honest.
the seeding of a lot of teams was a bit wonky. Like New
Yeah,
Mexico, I don't think
they're
they should
better
have
than
been
a 10.
seeded like a 10-7 matchup.
Yeah,
Um, Marquette, I didn't see as a 7. Um, who's another one off the top? VCU, I didn't see that low. Uh, man, I know I'm blanking on some teams here. St. John's as a 2 seed. Now I know they lost to Arkansas, which again,
right,
Arkansas shouldn't have been like I don't think they should have been rated a 10-7 with Kansas.
right.
Uh, Kansas shouldn't have been that high. Maybe flip those two.
Sure.
Um, man, there's a lot of teams where I'm just like St. John's. Let's be real, they should have been a number 1 seed. Like from everything they basically ran through the Big East. They ran through the title games. They were the champ. They lost what, like 2 or 3 games? Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, bad game against Arkansas. Arkansas did its thing, but they should
Yes.
have been a 1 seed.
So you would probably bounce Houston.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
Um,
That's
and
fair.
Auburn, Florida, and Duke were what are
Those are
they?
ones.
Yeah, those are ones. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Just a lot of things. Just this tournament was really wonky so far. And there's been a lot of really bad basketball too. And I
Yeah.
I watched a handful of the first games, and I was like, I don't really want to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I got my bracket, I got some stuff hanging in there, but it's not overly exciting and it's not overly upsetting either. I mean, some of these games that flat out I just got wrong, it's like, yeah, the other team was like literally that good, like in Arkansas against a St. John's. Shoot, we even saw Connecticut almost upset Florida, like stuff like that. The one that I was really hoping to pull the trick off on, and it came kind of close. I was really thinking Gonzaga was going to win against Houston. Kind of to your point that Houston to me is the lesser of those 1 seeds. But regardless, I mean, I still have other players at B that are still remaining in the brackets. In that Gonzaga bracket, I still have Tennessee coming out of that. I
Yeah,
think the SEC is
same.
fantastic, to be honest. So yeah, to me, it's nothing too shocking. I feel like the SEC has a lot of power, and then I think obviously like Big East teams like St. John's, Marquette, Connecticut, those are kind of your top of the lineup there. But then it's kind of like everyone else is just a mix. It doesn't really feel like there's any conference beyond the Big East that is crazy dominant. It just feels like they're all kind of balanced once you get kind of past the SEC.
Oh, Yeah, Michigan State. That was a 2 seed where I'm like, they don't feel like a 2 seed. Eh. And then
Um,
Wisconsin, 3 seed. Well, they don't feel like a three. They might have been like a
exactly.
5 or 6, like I just it I don't
It,
know. It's just a weird taste in my mouth. Like, to be honest, I'm more excited about the Elite Eight of the women's because we already know who's gonna be there, like the USC's, the South
UCLA,
Carolina. Like, I
Connecticut.
love that so many teams or so many like, you know, big talking heads were like, oh, well, South Carolina, and they came out and blew the doors off of whoever they played by like 60. And they're
Yep.
like, yeah, yep, we're here. We are still here.
Yeah.
But you got stars, like the
Yeah.
Paige Beckers and the Jujus and South Carolina's Dawn Staley as a coach, like
Yes.
Gino and UConn. Like, you've got stars where you're like, yeah, let's go watch some people.
Yes.
The men's side, they were
It's
trying
just
to
Cooper
like,
Flag.
yeah, they were trying to force guys on you where they're like, oh, watch John Tanji, watch, Cam Jones's, watch the
I don't
Cam
know who
Jones
these
didn't
people
even
are.
show up.
Yeah.
He didn't even show up.
Patino benched one of his guys, one of his better guys against Arkansas for a significant amount of time. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I think the men's game has to start understanding that, you know what, we do have to make this in a way that we make it more of a TV show, more star based. I mean, like Juju Watkins, like, yeah, she's definitely the face of women's college basketball now, and you see her on multiple commercials now too. Where is that with the men's side?
But that's the thing. You can't on the men's side because this is gonna sound really horrible. The egos on the men's side are so huge. The
Yes,
egos of coaches. I know more coaches' names than I do players' names. And you
by
might,
a lot.
yeah, and you might say, oh, well, that's the NIL deals and the no, no, it might be, but like there were dudes back then, and I'm gonna sound like an old talking head now. 5 to 10 years ago, there were dudes in the tournament going off. And
Yep.
you're like, I mean, let's go back even further. We fell into this as Wisconsin people. Steph Curry was not a thing. And then Davidson played Wisconsin and he torched us. And I remember that day I was like, yo, this dude's gonna be I hope the Bucks draft this guy. And that was like my whole brain was like, let's get and
Yes.
then, later on there was the Bogut trade where, well, okay, man, we could get Steph Curry. Okay, okay, that could be nice. And we got
Totally.
Monte Ellis, which I was happy with Monte. I'm not gonna be
Yep.
that guy and
Yeah.
lie and say I wasn't. Um, but it was like that dude was a star coming
The
the
tournament.
NCAA tournament.
Yep.
The Anthony Davises of the world, the like those types of players and I'm not even just gonna say the top guys, but you have these memories of these guys that just Jimmer Fredette, big one.
Yep.
Jimmer
Yep.
Fredette was on a tear through the tournament. And you're
Yes, he
like,
was.
this dude is a dude. Yeah,
Hmm.
he didn't do very much in the NBA, and I'm still not really sure why. But he put up like 100 in China. So like,
Yeah.
there's none of those. None of those.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, like, even Grayson Allen isn't that far removed from Duke, to be
Yep.
honest. Solid player. I think Frank Kaminsky's pro career is kind of done, but I
Yep.
mean, see what he did with Wisconsin. He was kind of a big guy for the Phoenix Suns for a hot minute, stuff like that. But yeah, it does feel like recently, since we've hit the COVID years, there really hasn't been too many outside of maybe one or two guys who have really made an imprint for something lasting in the NCAA, and they can carry that over to the pros. I mean, nowadays it's basically the Zach Eady's, the Cooper Flag. You got what's his name, Dalton Connect with the
Yep.
Lakers. That's about it, man. Like, there's got to be something in the works to really do something, and to be honest, it's going to come down to money. There has to be more
Yep.
money circulating that makes it more incentivized to make a lasting impact in college than to just convert right to the pros. And the thing is too, like converting right over to the pros, a lot of these guys aren't going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
The
I like seeing
NBA,
what Cooper Flagg's doing with Duke, but that's about it.
the NBA's in trouble because all right, so my brain just started replaying the last guy that I seen, and again, it was a Wisconsin thing. When Ja Morant played Marquette, and
Yes.
I think he put up a triple double, which
Oh,
was like
crushed it.
first time ever type stuff.
Yep.
I was like, oh, this is that guy. Okay, and
Yes.
then what happened? Boosted him to a top 5 pick.
Yep.
And it's like in the like you named Dalton Connect. Meh. I mean, I liked him, but like he's
I always
starting
thought
to do
Edie
a
would be
little.
the yeah.
Zach Edey, we player of the year, all this stuff.
Yep.
Meh. I mean, he plays for Memphis. Okay.
Yeah, he's a starting, but he's a legit player, man. Starting five, Memphis, top four in the West. Like he is doing damage out there with Memphis.
Nah. I mean, he's kind of just, to be honest, he's there because it's Triple J, it's Ja Morant, it's Desmond Bain. There's a lot of dudes to feed in front of him.
Yeah.
Who's another one? Like, there's just really, like, I was thinking about this the other day, right? We're coming up on the time of the basketball players that we've kind of grown old with are about to all leave. Kevin
Yeah.
Durant, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Steph Curry's. You can even go a little bit further. The DeMar DeRozans, those type of guys. Like, what do we have now? Tyrese Halliburton, who shows up sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got Jokic and Giannis, but they're 30.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got Anthony Edwards and Shea. Well, who else? I don't know.
Nobody.
Bron James just put up 17 in a game.
Yeah, I heard about that. But
Does that just tell me like anyone can do that? So
right.
I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough. A lot of the old heads are going out, and a lot of the guys that we thought were going to take over, they're getting old.
Right.
So what happens now?
Yeah, and then it kind of tells you too that like the ones that have come up that are young are not possibly developing quite right.
No.
Because the whole system of being boom, one and done, go. Okay, well, the guys who are coming in from overseas, they have developed. They have done the same kind of structure like men's football does in America or the women's college basketball game. Like if you get at least like good 3 years under your belt to develop and become pro ready, you will become pro ready.
And that's the thing. Now, even with the NIL, and it's one of the reasons that I was totally against it. Well, not totally. I mean, like, let's say 75, let's say 70-30 against it, right? Where, yeah, I want people to get paid, whatever, that's fine. But once it started becoming incredibly, like, incentivized, where it almost doesn't even matter if you go to the league. Like, think about it. And I'll use the WNBA women, right? Those women were making $1 million before they got to the league, and they don't make $1 million in the league. They make, a couple $100,000. So do you go to the league or do you stay in college and keep getting what you're getting? You're the big fish in a small pond.
Yep.
Same with the NBA. A lot of these guys are the number ones. I mean, use a Grayson Allen, right? Grayson Allen was the man at Duke. Okay, he's a solid player. Like, okay, he's really solid.
Yep.
JJ Redick, super solid NBA career. Long term, great. Cool. Very good player. He was a stud, like player of the year stud in college.
Yeah.
Like, and now like you're looking at some of these guys now who they probably got like $1 million deals. And it's like it goes the same with the NFL. It's okay, do I go to the NFL? I'm gonna make a little bit of money in the NFL, but I can make way more money here in college with less work, and everybody knows my name here.
Right.
Then you get drafted and you're just another body. Like Look at how many second round players actually matter. Very little. Look at how many first round players at this point actually matter.
Very little.
Very little, you know?
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can look up a draft class here real quick.
Yeah.
I don't have my other, okay. I don't have my other device.
Uh-oh.
So if I pause, sorry.
Oh, no worries, man.
So I'm just going to go back to the 2020 NBA draft.
Sure.
So, you know, 5 years ago, not too far.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
And okay, Anthony Edwards, number 1. Woo! James Wiseman, traded. No one even remembers where he went. LaMelo. Okay, LaMelo's pretty good, but he's been hurt a bunch. Patrick Williams, meh. Isaac Okoro, it doesn't really play. Aneka Okongwu, all right, he's starting to get some minutes, but probably nobody knows who he is. By the way, everyone I've named so far is a freshman.
Gotcha. Yep.
Killian Hayes, he came from France. He is absolute garbage. No offense to him, but Obi Toppin, the Knicks
solid.
didn't want him. He became solid because he plays on Indiana, but he was pretty bad in New York. Denny Adija from Washington, meh. Jalen Smith was drafted by the Suns. Nobody knows who that is.
Nope.
Devin Vassell, he plays with the Spurs. Okay. Tyrese Halliburton. All right. Okay. Good. You know, all-star talent. Kira Lewis, Aaron Neesmith, Cole Anthony, Beef Stew, Josh Green, Sadiq Bey, Preston Achuya. Like, yeah, there's some okay players in here, but like half of these dudes don't matter. Leandro Balmero, I don't even know who that is. RJ Hampton, Jaden McDaniels, pretty good player. Malachi Flynn. Desmond Bane's actually in this. He was number 30, but like to have 2 or 3 actual players out of 30, Tyrese Maxey's also in that list. But all right, so 5 players out of 30.
Yep.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 out of 30, that means 1 out of 6 are hitting in the first round. That's not a good look. At least we're like when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to hitting on picks, generally across all the rounds, it's kind of close to like 40, 50%.
And at least they're rotational pieces where you're like, okay, I can understand why this guy got like half of those guys. I mean, I know who they are because I pay attention to a lot of NBA, and there's not as many players on every team, but it's like, man, some of those guys, I don't even know if they're in the league anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the college game should do something legit to really figure out a way to like keep these guys here. I mean, granted, you don't want to hold a guy back like a Cooper Flagg to who really is capable of really making money as a pro. And to be honest, the thing that shocks me is that he's even like playing in this tournament. I know he was coming into this tournament a little bit banged up. But seeing the fight in the guy and the fact that he does want to play in this tournament, to me, really speaks volumes to who he is as a player, as a person. The fact that he's going to really be out there as much as he can as a pro really is pretty cool to see. But that's the thing is like, you don't really have that true incentive to like, for most guys to really want to play through this tournament. And then once their season is done, they're NBA eligible, boom, they're going to chase that money regardless, whether they become pros or they scrub out. But if they're a scrub, they still get that money and they can go play overseas.
See, I mean, this is the rule I always thought. I think you should either be eligible before you touch college. So as a high school senior, as soon as you're done with high school, you're either eligible at that moment. But if you enroll in college, you can't come out until you're an upperclassman, so junior or senior.
Oh,
I don't
that's
think
actually a fantastic rule.
yeah, I don't think you should be able to come out after freshman or sophomore year. Like then you're with the team. But now the way the portal's open, you can just go wherever you want all the time. But I think you should have to stay with the team that you locked in with your freshman and sophomore year because that
Yeah,
team did all of that recruiting. Let's say you're a top 10 player in the country. Well, okay, I recruited you. I literally took all of my time, all of my effort, all my money, and threw it at you. And then you leave me after a year. So now I got to take all of that money, throw it to the next guy. Well, okay, then I'm just going to keep rotating guys in, and I'm
yeah,
never going to actually be able to coach them because
yep,
in their brain, and think about it, as a freshman, I mean, we were all there, right? Even if it wasn't college, high school, as a freshman, you come in, you're like, yeah, I'm not really here to play school. I'm here to just play basketball. I don't care about my grades. Yeah, I'm going to the league, so whatever. As soon as
right.
March Madness is over, you still have 2 to 3 months worth of school left. Do
Right.
you think anybody, like, I'm going to use Cooper Flag, but I'm not saying him in general because we already know he's the number one pick, right?
Yep.
So, Cooper Flag, as soon as this is over in 3 or 4 weeks, he's not in school anymore. Like, he could care less about school. Like,
Exactly.
the number one pick in the like why he could literally just go home and they'd be like, well, we're gonna fail you out of school. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to the league. He was
Yeah.
literally there to play college basketball and then he's gone. Well, how is that fair to his like I mean, again, there's a lot of NBA players that come to the league and they're not very smart because they either went to a horrible high school and all they knew was I'm gonna go play basketball. Then they get
Yep.
to college, they play that 1 year, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get my couple of million, I'm gonna go to the league. And then all of a sudden you come back and you're like, oh, why did that guy blow all of his money? Oh yeah, he wasn't that smart. Duh. Duh.
Exactly. Yep. 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 Yeah. I mean, that can definitely play into it. Um, but yeah, I really like your idea of, hey, they should go in immediately at high school, or they're in college and they have to develop those 2 years and then go.
Yep,
I
locked
think that
in.
would actually do them a lot of good. And I think there seems to be a growing consensus right now that when it comes to this transfer portal, it's a pretty much a mess.
Yeah,
There needs to be more stricter guidelines of like when you can declare. I mean, not saying that you can't move, but it can't be this like pure chaos like it is
I
now.
got
It's pretty bizarre.
I got an idea on that one too. So going with my drafting thing, right? Because this is
Yeah.
what the NFL does. You can't pick a guy until he's an upperclassman, right?
Yep.
So not only should they do that in the NBA with college basketball, the first 2 seasons you have to stay with the team that you committed to.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
smart.
if you committed to, Marquette, you're there freshman and sophomore year. Now
Yep.
that you're going into being eligible after your junior year, I think that's when you can transfer. After the
Sure.
sophomore year, now you're going, okay, what's the best option for me to get to the league? Now you can transfer to Duke or Arizona or USC or whoever, big market team to get your flash on if
Yeah.
you're at that level. So yeah, maybe by, that third year, Duke has a ton of juniors that are like dogs. But think about it, if you were a sophomore on that Duke team and they bring in a bunch of people, now you at least have the chance to still go somewhere else
Yeah.
because they're about to bring in some dudes and you're not going to get as much playing time. But you had to have that commitment of 2 years to do. I
Yep.
think as an upperclassman, you should be able to transfer or redshirt or whatever you need to do to
Yeah.
get yourself eligible to go somewhere else, be a fifth year senior.
Yep.
Then that's when you should be able to transfer or go to the league. You got the
Yeah.
two options: transfer
Yep.
or go to the league. But that first 2 years, you need to commit to who you committed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think that's a great way to go about it. So yeah, I really really like that aspect of how you have to manage how you're going to work your way as a pro or becoming a pro.
And
So
I got a little bit more of a nugget, a
what you
small
got?
nugget.
What you got?
So you know how they always go, well, coaches can switch to wherever they want, whenever they want. I think the same thing applies to a coach. You have to finish out the contract that you signed,
Yeah.
or you're fired. Then you can go somewhere else. It shouldn't be, I'm the best coach at BYU. I signed a 5-year deal. It's year number 1. I signed here because I couldn't get a big market school. But now
Yeah.
after my first year, oh yeah, I go to UCLA. Well, okay, that's pretty dirty. Either you work something out in a buyout where your team doesn't have to pay you any more money, or, they wanted to fire you on purpose. It shouldn't be a just, oh yeah, I signed here, but I'm just keeping it warm until, Memphis or Duke or Kansas or something like that opens up. Like, that's also not fair to the small market either. So I think
Right.
they should be committed as well.
Yeah, something like that, where if it does go around that route, then the remainder of the contract is voided, per
Mhm.
se.
But they
So
can't just leave whenever they want either. Like, because again, you might have been the recruit guy. You might have been the greatest recruiter of all time. That's why your VCU or your New Mexico is really good right now. Now
yeah,
you have all these commits coming in, and then you're like, yeah, deuces, guys. And now all those commits are locked in for that year or two, and they're like, well, I didn't want to play here unless he was here. Well, how's that fair to
right.
those guys? They should still have
Exactly.
the option to leave too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of like when we look at the coaching side. I mean, yeah, Rick Pitino took the job at St. John's, but it shows too that like he did hit the time that he needed to really build up Iona and spend the time there that he needed to make Iona good, and then take the St. John's job. So I
But
think that's kind of the right way to go about it.
look what happens to that Iona, though. Do we know anything about them now?
Nope, they plummet.
Yeah, and that's why I think like coaches shouldn't be able to just hop off the ship too, because now it's like, well, I came here to play because he was here. Oh,
Mhm.
all right. Well, I mean, I'm here now. Well, I'm leaving too because he's not here. Now all of your players are gone, and the new coach that comes in is like, uh, do we even have a basketball team? Because I don't have any players here.
Right.
And now your team is horrible, and you're not in the NCAA tournament, so you can't make even more money. And we
Yeah.
might not hear from them for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Patino's. I mean, we're talking New Mexico too. New Mexico is coached by Rick's son,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, to me, like, I mean, granted, I've kind of whiffed on some of my calls for a little bit of spoiler upsets. I did hit yesterday, kind of on Michigan over Texas A&M, but this is kind of like that part of like almost the top bracket, where I do have a little bit of chaos going today. I do actually have New Mexico winning against Michigan State after they won against Marquette. And then I also have later tonight, I have Colorado State upsetting Maryland. I know a lot of people love Maryland, but just kind of ran the numbers, ran the AI a couple of times, and Colorado State came out both times on that. I mean, I have them losing to Florida, but those are my two really, really fun spoiler picks that I'm playing with tonight.
I really like Colorado State. That was one of those teams where I picked them right away. As soon as I
Okay.
seen the bracket, I was like, "Ooh, I like
Yeah.
this team." Uh,
Yeah.
Maryland, Maryland's really good at their starting five.
Sure.
Colorado State, I think, can get them in foul trouble. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm not against that being an upset.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. Last year, I was reading some online article about teams that they thought could win it all last season. It never happened, but Colorado State was one of those teams they liked last year. Now another year under those guys' belt,
Mhm.
they got a really good program out there. There is something cool about it. Plus, like you saying, you liked them right out of the gates. So did pretty much everybody. Even the casinos actually had Colorado State as a favorite against Memphis. I thought that was very interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Memphis had someone injured, and that was why they were like the huge
Underdog?
go to. No, they were the huge favorite.
Oh, sure. Gotcha.
Give me one
Interesting.
second. I might pause for a second
Yeah. Yeah, no worries, man.
so I can find that.
Yeah. But yeah, Colorado State was a overwhelming favorite, which I thought was kind of a shocker. I mean, everyone does talk about a 12 over a 5, but I've never seen a 12 just as an outright favorite going into a matchup. And then I I don't know. I'm not expecting Lightning to strike twice, but something about that matchup against Maryland is showing to be advantageous. I don't really exactly remember why. I think maybe that's something I want to keep track of next year. Is just kind of keep tabs on the AI discussions I have between all the metrics I have with those teams being discussed. But there is something interesting about the Colorado State Maryland matchup that does make it more advantageous for Colorado State to get that victory. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, it didn't happen, but we almost had an upset out of the gates with Connecticut over Florida. I know we got a tight one right now between Duke and Baylor, but we'll see how this Colorado State Maryland thing shapes up.
So yeah, it was Tyrese Hunter, the first team All AAC selection, injured his foot in the semifinals of the tournament. So like they
Gotcha.
knew he wasn't playing.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So if Memphis didn't have their number one guy, that's a big factor.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot. Like, I mean, even we talked about Cooper Flag. There was a lot of teams like that I have in my notes.
Yep.
Um, and it's just like, man, again, I guess that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. The interesting thing that I've seen with Duke though is even though they do have Cooper Flag, the thing that got pointed out to me when I was starting to go over a lot of the other numbers is Duke actually is pretty deep. I'm seeing
Mhm.
that Duke is like 10 players deep total.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I seen too. I know they lost another player in the tournament in their ACC
ACC? Sure.
tournament. I almost said AAC again, but
Yeah.
yeah, they had another player go down, and they still just kind of ran through. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're like that.
Yep. Yep. And to me too, like the way they kind of showed their way through that ACC tournament, especially winning pretty dominantly against Louisville without Cooper Flag, that to me speaks volumes.
Yeah, that said something to me about Louisville and the ACC too. I'm like, eh. Like I know
But
everyone was up in arms about North Carolina and all that. And I'm like, how good is the ACC? I don't know.
yeah, I'm a little bummed out though because I really loved the way North Carolina played in that first 4 game against San Diego State. And I was getting some good feedback on when I was running the numbers and the AI stuff on North Carolina. I decided to ride the hot hand and rode North Carolina to the Elite Eight. It didn't happen. But like, man, I still like the coaching they got there in North Carolina. I like the way they played. They fell really, really flat against Mississippi. It was like all of a sudden they really couldn't shoot until late in the second half. Kind of a weird game. The other thing too, when it comes back to Louisville, I like Louisville, but I actually did pick Creighton in that matchup as well. The thing with Louisville is this is the first year that they are coached under the coach from last year from James Madison. James Madison was kind of a run and gun, kind of shoot 'em up, play defense kind of team. That's the style they play. And now that's the first year of Louisville really having that kind of identity. So I think it's going to take a little time before Louisville kind of gets in their rhythm in the NCAA tournament. It might be kind of like a slow build, kind of like we're seeing out of like a New Mexico or Colorado State kind of thing. Maybe even like Drake is a team that's kind of showing up more consistently now. Even Connecticut, before they really got on their championship run, kind of had to build it up for a bit and then got it going. So it is what it is, man. I think it's cool to see it forming, but it may not always take off on year one, kind of like what people were expecting with Rick Pitino and St. John's. I had my concerns, but I did have St. John's in the Elite Eight. I couldn't feel that I couldn't feel good enough to really go with St. John's much deeper than the Elite Eight, especially for a team that has concerns scoring the ball or scoring points.
Yeah, true story. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else do you got? What do you got? You got some NFL news over there?
Yeah, got a little bit of NFL stuff. So it is kind of interesting. I am starting to see a little bit of stuff. I mean, especially when it comes to the wide receiver side of what some of these teams are talking about. Oh, just seeing something here that like even Zadarius Smith is still out there as a free agent. That's a pretty cool defensive pickup if you can get him.
No, nobody wants that guy. No,
nobody.
He is a complete headache. Like, as a Packer fan, we built up all of his stock. Remember, we're the ones that picked up him and Preston, and then we got rid of him. Then Minnesota picked him up. Then they got rid of him, and then the Lions picked him up, and they got rid of him. Like,
I didn't even know he was a Lion. My bad.
Yeah, he's a headache. Let's just put it that way.
All right, I got you. But yeah, speaking of another headache that's out there that is coming off a pretty significant injury, but even more so is we know has been a significant headache in 3 NFL teams and 1 college that he played at.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. Not really finding too many suitors at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean he's coming off an injury too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I think that's going to be a little time.
Would I take him if I had money? If if I'm like a Baltimore Ravens, maybe.
This is a guy who was throwing CJ Stroud under the bus already.
Yeah, it does tell you something that the Texans and the Bills moved away from this star.
Yeah. It to me, it's just. I've always felt that this guy is nuclear material, very radioactive. I would not want to deal with him. Even more so with this ACL injury. I think it's better to just let the guy rest, see what he's like going into next season, and then if you want to sign him to a team-friendly deal, and then take it from there.
Like a OBJ kind of deal, where he came back and it was like, all right, man, we'll see what you do. And he still hasn't built up his equity. No.
Yeah. I think OBJ's. I mean, we know his run is done. But what he did with the Rams was pretty cool. It was pretty cool seeing what he did there. But
wait a minute. I got an idea.
What do you got?
I got an idea. Because one team that I know of just picked up the greatest wide receiver, #1 of all time. The Packers got McCole Hardman, right? So that means we don't need another receiver. But if Stephon Diggs was available, we could Yeah.
I'm always shocked that McCole Hardman just doesn't kind of keep signing team-friendly deals with the Chiefs because, man, he's got excellent chemistry with Patrick Mahomes, man. I couldn't see a guy leaving that, to be honest. I mean, he keeps thinking he can make it elsewhere, and he doesn't.
He had 8 catches or something ridiculously low last year. He won
the Super Bowl. Last season, he did win that Super Bowl. So, I mean, he tried it with the Jets, and the Jets was just an utter disaster for him.
Yeah, he had 12 catches last year for 90 yards.
Yeah.
Woo!
I mean, that's the kind of player he is, though, man. He's not even a number 3. He's more of like a number 5. So,
yeah, I know. And we signed him, so.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But I think we're kind of seeing how things are shaking up for the rest of the league, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. We saw Jameis Winston go up to the Giants. That is what it is. That's pretty much nothing. Um, yeah, the Giants are the team that people will go to just take money, and they'll just take your money. That's pretty much it, man.
Might as well
But
just play Tommy DeVito at this point. Well, at least we know they're
exactly.
going to draft someone.
Oh yeah, they want to make sure that their season this upcoming year is not good. But with that being the case, I would expect that what's his name, John Mara would pretty much clean house. But he should have done that this past season, but he didn't do that.
I mean, when he cleaned house with Saquon Barkley, probably should have cleaned house right there and then.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, seeing what Joe Sheen did as a GM, I just I seen that episode of Hard Knocks. It kind of made you think that he was probably just going to fire Joe Sheen on the spot, but didn't. And then Saquon goes on to win a Super Bowl, and he still keeps his job. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. The Giants are a real enigma when it comes to figuring out how the heck they ran that how in the world they run that team.
If somehow that is the only option for Aaron Rodgers, he should just retire.
So the thing is that I've heard is that the Giants do have a good left tackle. They do have protection up there.
They don't have any receivers. They don't have a tight end, a running back.
Well, I mean, they do have what's his name? That Malik Neighbors is up there. He's excellent. Going into year 2.
I mean, Garrett Wilson was supposed to be that too. So if you can't stand up and you can't throw it to him, then that doesn't even matter.
Right. And that's where I think like the concerns with the Pittsburgh Steelers to me should be more legit, because they let a left tackle just sign to another team on free agency. So I'm kind of shocked that that's the case. To me, it tells me, okay, cool. Does Pittsburgh have some inside info that they're gonna land a left tackle and he's gonna work? I'm kind of shocked by that, but I don't know. I think you're at the right point where like Aaron Rodgers is running out of suitors. Like he's not going to the Titans. The Titans are taking Cam Ward. We know that.
Yep. I mean, what we have Cleveland, maybe.
That's it.
But what's the Steelers? Maybe.
And we know the 49ers the 49ers are going to work out a deal with Brock Purdy. They're going to make it work.
The Giants, like
it's the Giants and the Browns and the Steelers. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I know the idea that he could go or that he can't go to the Vikings, but at the same time, what if the young man comes up, JJ McCarthy, and he is absolute garbage? Well, you can always call Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, the thing is too, it tells you right now that the Vikings actually right now at this moment do not have a backup plan for JJ McCarthy.
None.
They are doing nothing with Rodgers at the moment, and they let Daniel Jones go to Indianapolis. That kind of shocked me. I thought they were going to hold on to Daniel Jones, and to me, if your choice is to not go with Aaron Rodgers, it should be to hold on to Daniel Jones. To me, Daniel Jones is very much a playable starter in the NFL.
Now here's an idea. I could be crazy. What if the Indianapolis Colts went and got Aaron Rodgers? Does that make them a playoff team?
No, it doesn't. But it does give them more stability at quarterback. But the thing is, would I want Aaron Rodgers ahead of Daniel Jones? Maybe not.
No, I don't want Daniel Jones. That guy's horrible. I don't understand how he still got a job.
I mean, Rodgers did have a solid 30 touchdown, 10 interception season last year. I'll give him that.
And that was bad, by the way.
Oh, I don't think that's bad.
Oh, I didn't. But every talking head would tell you he had a bad season.
Oof. I would say the only concern is how many of those does he have left in the tank? That's
why you have Anthony Richardson behind him.
I think that guy's a bust. I think he's a total bust.
Agree.
He cannot stay healthy. Yep. So
that's what I'm saying. Dude, why not the Colts?
Yeah, I think the Colts does make a good option too, because the other thing too is Shane Steichen. He's running out of time. He has to hit on quarterback ASAP. And to put all your eggs in the Daniel Jones basket is an excellent point. That maybe you need more than just Daniel Jones. Maybe you do need an Aaron Rodgers to kind of shake things up a bit.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, would he be able to win the AFC South?
Yes, absolutely. That
Right.
division is up for grabs. There's already people saying the Titans with Cam Ward have a shot at winning that division.
So look at last season's standings, right? The Colts were only 2 games back. And
That's crazy.
didn't they have who they have? Did they have Minshew there? Is that no? You had Minshew.
No. We had Minshew. That went well.
Who'd they have?
They had Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, yeah. Like, I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers over Joe Flacco any day of the week. And Houston, like, I don't expect the Jaguars to be good. They're never good. They tease you like they will be, and then they're not.
Yeah.
And they just spent all their money on their quarterback, who's not worth it.
They can't get out of it. They're stuck on that deal, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're really stuck.
The Titans are the Titans. They're going to be a headache for a while.
Not necessarily, man. I mean, the thing is, too, like, that's a division, though, that we can't underestimate because of how easy it is to be honest, to attract free agents.
Yeah,
and that's a team with a good defense.
What I mean is, like, we don't I mean, unless Cam Ward comes in there like Jaden Daniels and lights it on fire.
Yeah.
I can pump the brakes a little. Let's say they're a 6 to 7 win team.
Yeah.
There's still a gap in there where it's like, maybe you sneak in there and take Houston's spot if you go to the Colts. The Colts they're not a bad team. They got multiple receivers. They got a top-notch running back. The defense is pretty solid. Like, it's not a bad decision.
No, and the interesting point in that is, if Aaron Rodgers does land there, then Joe Flacco's out, and maybe Joe Flacco were to maybe maybe he winds up on a team like a Minnesota, or, man, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'd roll the dice with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, he's not looking to be a starter, I don't think, right now. I mean, he's just a guy, you know? He's there
exactly.
And so I literally typed in Joe Flacco. Yep. And the number one thing that comes up is the Minnesota Vikings. So, like,
interesting.
Why not give him a go? He's a free agent, by the way.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And I think the cool thing with him is, guys pretty much always had a good attitude his life. And he pretty much said, I forgot what show he was on, but he said basically his plans are basically just to play football for as long as he enjoys it until, like, the wheels fall off. And when he feels like he doesn't have it, then he's done.
And think about it. A guy like that who has moved around a couple teams, he's got a Super Bowl ring. Like, he doesn't need to play anymore. At one point, he got that huge deal. Everyone's like, oh, he shouldn't make that much money. Like, whatever. He's got a Super Bowl. He can do whatever he wants at this point.
Yep. Absolutely.
And he had one of the greatest playoff runs in the history of football, to be honest. And so a guy like that, why wouldn't you want him as a quarterback's coach, which he's probably doing already when he was with Cleveland and Indy and, you know, being a backup to certain players.
Yep.
Now he might be ready for an offensive coordinator job next year. Just be what was that guy? Cade McNown? Was Doug Peterson? There's another one.
Yeah.
But just go in there and be a backup somewhere, and then just offensive coordinator. He's a football guy. Let him be a football guy.
Yeah, and what is it? The head coach of the New Orleans Saints. I'm blanking on his name. He was just the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the LA Chargers.
Oh man, big arm from Boise State.
Yeah, he is a former quarterback in his own right. Let me see if I can find him, because there's no way we can end this show without not knowing who he is.
I know, right?
Yeah, we definitely need to find him.
Boise State, right? He did play at Boise State. That's the guy we're thinking of.
Yes, Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. There we go.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, he is. He is the head coach there. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely shown that if you kind of show your time as a quarterback, whether it's a backup or, I mean, to be honest, the backups have more time to just kind of learn the ropes of kind of coaching. To be honest,
Yeah.
but Joe Flacco's kind of been in that kind of backup role for a while. That he's seen it. That you can then make a living almost kind of being an assistant on the offense, maybe one day become an offensive coordinator, and then maybe that is what gets you into being a head coach. Flacco is definitely on that right path for sure.
Right. And he went to a small school, right? Like Delaware or something.
Yep,
Yeah.
Delaware.
So like, you telling me Delaware wouldn't drop their head coach right now for some Joe Flacco business?
Exactly. Yeah, that would just skyrocket recruiting. It would absolutely work. So yeah, I think you're spot on that Joe Flacco's set himself up for a really nice coaching path.
Boom. That's
Nice.
what I'm talking about.
That's no debate.
True
There's no
story.
debate right there, man. So yeah. So you know what? I think we got it, man. I think we got a good show for today. We're hitting that hour mark. I think we're looking pretty good. And then yeah, we'll see how it goes next week. Maybe a little more free agency, definitely some more March Madness, and definitely more play on the women's side too. So we can bring that up next week, man.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna flip a table and whatever sticks, sticks.
Whatever sticks, man. There you go. So I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And that's no debate.